Right now, we're joined by former Toronto police officer Mark Mendelson for his thoughts on this. Obviously, you've seen the video, Mark. I'm curious, what's your reaction to it, and do you think that the statement by police saying that essentially he wasn't being kneed to the head, is this accurate in your opinion?
Well, good morning, Jamie. I know you. You know me. I don't normally dance on the head of a pin, but I'm going to dance on the head of a pin after looking at this video. We're getting one version. We're getting one angle. We're getting one shot, which, in my opinion, isn't conclusive of what the complainants are saying in terms of where this officer's knee or shin is. We know that the accused is face down on the ground. You can see a knee or part of a shin in the area around the neck, but it's also quite possible from that angle, and again, only from that angle, that it may be a little further down in between the shoulder blades. I just don't know from what we're seeing now. It's a bit of a herky-jerky video. There's officers walking in and out of the shot itself. So for me, I would like to see more. Now, having said that, Jamie, as you mentioned, Toronto police were very clear and very adamant in their statement that the officer did not place his knee on this man's neck. Neck compressions, of course, are not authorized. They're not trained. They're prohibited by the police. It's something that is not done as part of the normal use of force and defensive training. But the fact that Toronto police were so clear about it makes me wonder what other videos they have seen. And the only thing that I can infer from that statement is that they've had the opportunity and the benefit of looking at maybe 10 or 15 camera views that were from officer body-worn camera equipment, video equipment. And if that's the case, they have a very different perspective of what took place. But, Jamie, this is also a good opportunity if Toronto police really wanted to clarify this situation, rather than just saying we've looked at things and no, we don't think it happened. This might be a good opportunity to communicate to everybody just what it is they did in fact see. If it was body cams, say it was body cams. I appreciate they can't release it because now this matters before the court, but this is a good opportunity for them to sort of clarify the rationale behind their position.
Well, I'm sure you can appreciate, a lot of people obviously are deeply concerned about what they see in this video, and one of the parts of the video that we're looking at is not only was it appears that an officer had a knee in and around his head or neck area. It can't quite pinpoint it because there's a lot of action going on, but there is one point in the video that we're showing on screen that's coming up very shortly, where it appears as though the officer's left knee repeatedly on more than once strikes this individual. There it is, and it looks like I don't know if he's trying to regain his balance or leverage over the individual who's being arrested, but I'm sure you can appreciate it to the average viewer out there. It doesn't look great, but at the same time, we're not police officers and we're not the ones that are put in these kind of situations. What's your take on that?
No, you're right, Jamie. It doesn't look great. And that's why I'm suggesting that maybe this is an opportunity for Toronto police to communicate how they came to this conclusion. Yes, the officer is off balance. You can see that. You've also got somebody who's being arrested who clearly doesn't want to be arrested, and they're struggling as well. If it's an inadvertent, placement of a leg or a knee in and around the neck or just below the shoulder blades, that's entirely possible too. But from that camera view, it's just not conclusive enough for me. But I would want to see what other vantage points these officers had, and what other vantage points that the people who made this decision that it didn't happen. Where was that? And they really can't show it to us because it is before the courts, but they can certainly articulate where they got this information from.
Part of the statement goes on to say that officers are trained to use the amount of force necessary to render a situation safe for all involved, including the public and police officers who, in this particular case, it appears as though an officer was assaulted. Can you talk a little bit about the procedures? What are police exactly trained to do, and how do you think this matter is going to be looked at, moving forward when it comes to dealing with these kind of volatile situations?
Well, the Criminal Code of Canada clearly articulates that an officer can use as much force as is necessary for the purpose. And that includes effecting an arrest. Part of making an arrest is you have to take physical control of the suspect, who later becomes the accused. Now we put this into the dynamic of of a demonstration where the temperature is very, very high. This is not a pushing, shoving incident. This is a situation where this gentleman was ultimately charged with obstructing police and assault with intent to resist arrest. So it's dynamic, and and the emotions are high for a variety of reasons. So when you see something like this, the officers make a decision to make that arrest. You can see the officer circle around the arrest that's being made. And that's not to cover up cameras. It's nothing nefarious like that. That's what they're trained to do. They're protecting the accused. They're protecting the officers. They're making sure that all eyes are on everybody at the demonstration so that nobody else gets hurt during the course of this arrest being made. So there's all kinds of moving parts. And then we have this video as well. And yes, it is troublesome, and it requires clarification and explanation.
And do you think that the police need to do a little bit more PR and talk to the public about, why they took these necessary steps to detain this individual, just to make people a little bit more aware about, this is what we're trained to do, and this is why we support the actions of the officers in this video?
I think that's the right. I think this is an opportune moment to do that. At the end of the day, the defense lawyer for this gentleman who's been arrested is going to get disclosure from the Crown Attorney. That disclosure can include, if he asks or she asks, for all of the body cam footage from all the officers that were there. And eventually this will make it into court. That will become a matter of public record. And maybe that's the only opportunity we're going to get to see all the different camera angles, that may provide the basis, the evidentiary foundation for the police coming up and saying, not just it was inadvertent, they're saying it didn't happen. And if it didn't happen, I think they need to tell us what they used to come to that conclusion.
Mark Mandelson, we always appreciate your time and perspective. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good morning, Jamie.
You too.